Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I'm George. We're all George. So, the end of Bitcoin and crypto. What do I mean by that? The end of 2024. So what is Bitcoin and crypto going to do? So far, it has not been good these last few days. Is it going to change the very last day? Well, let's talk about it. Today we had a little volatility, a little up and down. So are we going to see something different tomorrow? So let's discuss. All right, let's do it. Welcome, guys. So we're starting out tonight, the same as this morning, 92,000. Although Bitcoin did have a little bit of volatile movement. We went up and down a little bit. Overall today in the US, we did not have a good day. The US market, the broader market, went down 400 points. Dow did. NASDAQ went down 235. Microstrategy got beaten to death, went down 9% and 8% and 3% after hours. Now it's under 300. And I think a lot of you guys, I've been seeing a lot of comments from you guys that are sharing the same kind of concerns as me in terms of what Saylor is doing. Even though we all love Saylor and we know he's one of the biggest Bitcoin bulls out there, but a lot of us are getting a little concerned about what he's doing and how he's leveraging MicroStrategy to buy boatloads of Bitcoin, right? And I think Wall Street is getting a little concerned. That's why the shares is not doing so well. But today, though, we saw Bitcoin do this. Earlier this morning, we saw Bitcoin go down to about 91.3 and then shot up to almost 95,000. And then now come back down to 92, right? So we definitely did that. And there's good reason for it because I do think that was meant to clear out again the longs and the shorts, both sides. That's why we saw that. So a lot of liquidity, I guess, being wiped out from the market, right? But overall, like I've been saying, end of the year, we got Wall Street doing their thing right now, right? Rebalancing, profit taking, tax harvesting, right? End of the year, we only got 1 day left. That's tomorrow, the end of 2024, which I like to remind most of you guys because so many are turning bearish. All this like bearishness has only occurred the last 2 weeks, okay? Leading up to the last 2 weeks, it's been absolutely fantastic. So there's no doubt about it. This year, 2024, has been absolutely fantastic. We got to keep that in perspective. So no matter what anyone says, okay, 118% gain, year-to-date gain, okay, despite the last 2 weeks being a little weak, no one should be complaining about that. 120% gain. And again, with Bitcoin being in the 90s, no one should be complaining about that, right? So again, to put things in perspective, we had a tremendous year. Now, the last 2 weeks, some profit taking, some rebalancing, tax harvesting, whatever is happening, but we only got 1 day left of that. And during the Q&A part, I'll show you guys what has happened in prior cycles and previous years that are very encouraging. Very encouraging to look at. Okay, but today, definitely all the volatility, right? The up and downs from today, market maker liquidity grabs, definitely. That's why we're seeing this volatile movement both up and down. And also this morning, I showed you guys the liquidity heat map. Whatever was happening today definitely was meant to drive out liquidity both sides, the long and the short. So you could see The long side, obviously, you had a lot of levels liquidated, but on the short side too, you know, just when you thought only the longs got liquidated, the short side, all these, I even mentioned it this morning. I said it would not surprise me to see Bitcoin go up to like the 94.6 range. I said that this morning too. And guess what? That's exactly what we saw to wipe out the shorts as well. And, you know, that's what the market makers do. They like to grab liquidity and drive out people, and they reset the market and then again move forward, right? But again, this is all temporary. This is short term. And when in doubt, zoom out. Like I said, this year has been absolutely fantastic. Okay. And it's not just for Bitcoin. I saw someone's comments like, no, it's only been Bitcoin that's been good. Really? XRP's year-to-date performance, 228%. That's better than Bitcoin. What about BNB? 125%. That's better than Bitcoin's year-to-date. Okay. Even Solana, 86%. Doge, 248%. Tron, which I don't even love. I hate Tron, 134%. Toncoin, 138% year-to-date. Shiba, 100%. Sui, 422%. Hedera, 218% year-to-date. Stellar, 147%. BitGet, who's buying BitGet token? 958% year-to-date performance. Pepe, 1,300% year-to-date performance. So no, it's not just Bitcoin. This is despite the fact that a lot of these have sold off 25% in the last 30 days, 20%, 15%, right? But again, that's just the last 2 weeks. If you've been holding for years, or if you've been accumulating since the beginning of the year, or even 6 months ago, you're well in the green, right? Because most of these alts have been climbing since the beginning of the year, and really since crypto winter from the last cycle, right? But again, you know, what's going on right now, I've shown you guys, happens with every cycle. We have corrections, we have dips, we have volatile moments, right? And then we move past it and we make new highs, and then you forget about it, and then everyone's happy once again. It happens every single cycle. That's just how it works, right? But in the meantime, you got to view these moments as gifts, even though some people don't see it that way. But these are buying opportunities. And if you can't, at least don't panic. Know that there are a lot of people that are buying behind the scenes. You may not think that is happening, but it's definitely happening. You have a lot of big whales, market makers that are driving people out. You have exchanges, you have institutions, you have private companies, you have ETFs. They are all loading up behind the scenes while retail investors are kind of panicking and panic selling. That's what you don't want to do. Obviously, I mentioned Sailor already. Sailor will always buy no matter what. You can say that he always buys at tops because recently every single purchase he has announced has been at a higher price, way higher price, but it doesn't matter. He's made a lot of purchases in crypto winter and they have all paid out handsomely. It's just recently he's been leveraging like crazy, selling off a lot of Microstrategy shares to buy more Bitcoin. We all love to hear big, massive Bitcoin purchases, but you know, it's just a little worrisome that he's leveraging so much right now to buy so much Bitcoin, right? But nevertheless, he is buying a whole bunch. But it's not just him. Tether, right? I've seen some people say, well, there's a lot of Tether FUD right now. EU is about to kick him out. Tether they have endless amount of money right now. They use a lot of their profits to buy Bitcoin. Case in point, they just bought $705 million worth of Bitcoin, added to the reserve. I don't know the exact percent. I think they said up to 25% of their profits, quarterly profit. I don't know if it's 25% or 15% or something. It's a decent amount, but not like 50% or something. But the very fact that they added 700 million in a single quarter, that shows you how much money they are making these days. Okay, so they are not going anywhere. But anyways, they're adding Bitcoin to the reserve. I mentioned countries and other companies, right? They're all adding up. Obviously, Blackrock, their ETF is considered the greatest launch in ETF history. 50 billion in assets in 11 months. That's roughly double of their gold ETF, which has been running for decades. Okay, think about that. This definitely had a lot to do with Bitcoin's appreciation this year. Like I mentioned before in my Sunday walk video and prior videos, Bitcoin is ahead compared to previous cycles, right? Some people may not realize that. Some people may be disappointed that the Santa rally, Christmas rally didn't come this year. I am too. I would have loved to see Bitcoin go much higher. But one of the reasons why it probably didn't was because of the fact that Bitcoin is already higher at this point in time, at this junction, versus prior cycles if you look at this point in time, right? And it's due to ETFs and it's due to the Sailor and other countries or other companies that's been loading up on Bitcoin behind the scenes, right? While, like I said, retail investors are panicking, right? That's exactly what's been happening. You got this other one, AI firm that's buying $10 million worth of Bitcoin. Awesome. You're just getting companies left and right. Ones that I don't even know about. They're just loading up, adding more and more Bitcoin, which is why, again, supply shock is happening. Reserves is dropping, and it's dropping like a rock. It's not even a gradual drop. It's just dropping rapidly at this point, right? And I've been talking about supply shock for a long time. When Bitcoin was stuck in the 60s, even dropped to 40s and 50s at one point earlier this year, people just didn't believe it. People are like, supply shock is nonsense. It's not happening. Well, we're in the 90s, okay? Some people still don't believe it, even in the 90s. Supply shock isn't happening. Sailor's buying all this. ETF's buying all this. How come we're not making a new high? Well, it doesn't happen every single day. All these large purchases are through OTC market, right? And you still have the market makers that are doing their thing. You still have the whales doing their thing, Wall Street doing their thing, right? There are still a lot of manipulation going on and price suppression, and you still have a lot of panic sellers. You have a lot of things going on every single day, right? So that's still going to disrupt price daily. But long term, we know Bitcoin is limited. There's a set supply. And when you have massive billion-dollar purchases, removing Bitcoin from the supply, it's going to add up. And the price will go up eventually. And that's why we're in 90,000 Bitcoin. And that's why eventually it'll be back above 100,000. And eventually it'll be at 200,000. Eventually it'll be at 500,000. Eventually it'll be at 1 million plus. And it's not going to stop. It's going to keep on going forever. From a technical perspective, I'll show you guys two other things. Matthew here is showing that, hey, we're hitting a major support, which a lot of people have drawn out. This guy that I covered this morning has been pretty dead accurate with his earlier prediction. Okay. He drew this out and it's been like clockwork. He drew this out like on the 19th. I showed this morning and it's just been like following it dead on. And if it's going to like keep going, well, basically after tomorrow, the first of the year, is when we start rallying once again, which again makes a whole lot of sense because after Wall Street, you only have 1 day left, right? You only have 1 day to rebalance, to sell off for profits, to do whatever you need to for tax reasons, tax harvesting and accounting reasons, right? That's it. It's the last day of the year. After that, there's no reason to be selling off anymore. And at these cheap prices, all there's left to do is to buy. So it would not surprise me that starting day one of 2025, after the end of 2024, we start going right back up because there's really no reason for us to be at these levels right now. We go right back up. And let me show you guys something. Last thing I'll show you guys. I mean, there's really no surprise. It really isn't. But again, when in doubt, zoom out, right? When in doubt, zoom out. Realize that, again, all this bearishness started the 18th, okay? 18 till now, that's only 12 days. But leading up to it, it's been pretty darn bullish. Not only the last few months, but basically the entire year. So to put things in perspective, it's only been somewhat bad the last 12 days, okay? And it certainly did not wipe out the gains from all this, okay? It nowhere close of wiping out all this, just to put things into perspective. But you know what? Just scrolling back a little bit, okay? Just going back to, some of these prior cycles. Like if you look at the last one, I know history doesn't always repeat, but it tends to rhyme. If you look at, I showed this before, you look at from here on, right? The last cycle from January 1st all the way to January 8th, Bitcoin went on a tremendous run. Tremendous run, starting from the first on, 40%. That was the last halving year. The year right after that was 2021. 2021, a lot of you guys lived through it. That was when Bitcoin, 2020, Bitcoin bottomed out at $3,800, below 4,000. It was a horrible year with COVID, pandemic, forced shutdown. Everyone was at home, right? No one thought Bitcoin was going anywhere. Everyone thought the 4-year cycle, the top was going to be broken. Yet Bitcoin still clawed out of the bottom, went up as high as 69,000. But after that 2020 halving year, 2021 hit, and it still went up 40%, started a new year. Then it trended down a little bit. And then guess what happened? Boom, it just started going up and up and up. But still, even after, after we went up, look at these big corrections, right? Nothing goes up forever. Nothing goes up linearly forever. You may have big climbs, and yeah, they're pretty huge, but these corrections are pretty massive too, right? So some of the ones that we've seen at this cycle, they're big, but nowhere near as big as these. These are from prior cycles that dropped like 20-25%. They're massive, right? So bottom line is, and look at this one, this one dropped from 64,000 down to 28,000 and then went up back up to 69,000. That was probably the biggest drop. That was in the last bull run. So my point is this: every single bull run, every single cycle, you're going to see volatility. Nothing goes up linearly forever. You're going to see some volatility, but that doesn't mean the run is over. That doesn't mean that everything's canceled. But after you move past it, you just form a new high and you keep on going. That's just how it works, right? And it's not like you guys haven't seen this before. I mean, look at this earlier this year. Remember all this? Do you guys remember all this? Starting from May or March, going all the way to October. Remember all these times? Those were some fun times. Those were some fun times when we were still in our 50s, right? And now we're in our 90s. We're literally double from where we were even in September, October. So just to give you guys a gentle reminder. All right, that is it. Let's do some Q&A. One more day to go. Crossy, big super chat. Hey, George, happy new year. Thanks for great content. Keeping us focused. Much appreciated. Thank you. Thank you for sticking around. Sean says, are you really Satoshi Nakamoto? I can't confirm or deny that. Let me scroll up. I think I missed something. So Count Ivan is shilling a new AI agent play called Radio. Yeah. Okay. Someone gave me another one recently, and it did not pan out well, so I was not surprised. One strap on airdrop. Maybe in 2025 again. I have not created another NFT for a couple years now. I may create another limited edition one in 2025 for all you fans out there. Laurel, Georgia, all these years, I still hold my Bitcoin because of you. I got discouraged. You remind me of the prize. You're welcome. I'm glad to hear that you continue to hodl. I mean, really, when it comes to Bitcoin, the best strategy is to just like hold and forget. Like if you really could forget like that you bought, that would be the best. Like if you just leave it in there and it's like, oh, I forgot I bought 5 years ago, or I forgot I bought 10 years ago. That is actually the best strategy. Because when you check it in 10 years, you will be pleasantly surprised. In 10 years from now, December 30th, 2034, you check it, I would not be surprised the price would be at $920,000. And that's after a dip. That would not surprise me if you just forget about it for 10 years. Will ETH BTC ratio ever reach 0.10 again? I have no idea. ETH has been surprisingly, not surprisingly, but has been quite weak versus recent or prior cycles. So I don't know. Others are actually, getting stronger. So I don't know if that's going to be the case. Will memes, Marshall's asking, will memes outperform everything in 2025? That could be a possibility. Retail is definitely FOMOing into memes. Now the new meme craze is AI agent memes, So there's always some kind of new meme narrative. Before that was celebrity memes. Before that was whatever. You know, there's always something, right? There's always something. Colin Ivy, I have no idea what you're talking about. I only mentioned it because you just super chatted me. So, no idea what you're talking about in terms of them shilling me. You just mentioned it, so yeah. You just shielded to me, and then now you're saying they have been shilling me. That doesn't make any sense. Dustin, can you do a video on how to operate virtual IO and what's up with Griffin? I have no idea what that is. And what's operating virtual IO? Dustin, I have no idea on both your questions. Deputy Dog. Sorry to hear about you're sick. A lot of people's been getting sick. I finally got over my sickness. It took forever. Which altcoins will perform the best during the upcoming altcoin bull run? That's a loaded question. Very hard. No one has a magic 8 ball. It's best not to try to guess. There are going to be a lot of alts that will do very well. Some will probably do better than others, but who knows? Who knows? Sui has done very well this year, but obviously XRP, Hedera. I just showed you guys Pepe. Pepe did 1,000%, being a big cap already, big cap meme. But there's several other AI plays, meme plays that's been super hot, has gone up more than that. So who knows what's going to be the hottest, but I believe in sticking with the ones that have been around for a long time, the ones that are trustworthy. They could still give you a good 5, 10, 15x performance. Mantra. I don't even know anything about Mantra. It's up 6,000%. Virtuals is up 26,000%. Some of these are just like absolute craziness. Bonk is up 127%. Whiff is up 1,000%. Ondo's up 726%. Some of these are just absolutely nuts. Even like Radium, right? The biggest DEX on Solana, still up 285%. Something that I know not a whole lot of people are paying attention to, but hey, had a fantastic year. 285% year to date. Brett up 95,000% this year. Just silliness. Aerodrome up 2,500% this year. Silliness too. I have no idea, Dustin, what Griffin is. Sorry. Jazzy. I keep getting a message on Discord from CryptosRUs. Is that you? No. Just think about it. Why would I be sending messages to you on Discord? First of all, I have no idea who you are. Second of all, why would I be sending messages to you? Bill, Georgia, truly appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. Your positive words. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Sui in 2025. Yeah, I think they will do well. they have been doing well, and I think they can continue to do well. George, do you find it weird that every crypto influencer has the same BTC target? How would I know? I don't know what their target is. I really don't. And plus, I don't watch anyone else. I have no idea what their targets are. I just make up my own numbers. I mean, I listen to what other people have been saying, what other people have been saying on during interviews and everything I've covered. So I would not be surprised if others are listening to what these guys are saying, like Sailor and CZ and all these other guys have been saying, you know, and they're coming to their own conclusion, or they're listening to me. I don't know. You put two and two together. And plus, you could look at the charts. A lot of the charts can make guesses on where Bitcoin can land based on prior cycles and fractal patterns and Fibonacci, you know, indicators, whatever, right? There are a lot of guesses. Velodrome. Not a fan. I'm not a fan of Velodrome or Aerodrome. I know like Aerodrome did really well, like super well. You know, I think incubated by Coinbase, the biggest DEX on base, all that's, you know, I get it, but not a fan. And Velodrome is on another protocol, another chain. Bradley, that's not what I meant, man. Don't be an idiot. I meant that other influencers are listening to me. Yeah, that comment of yours just pissed me off, man. I know you're a regular, but that's just a fucking stupid comment. Let's see. VeChain. I do talk about VeChain. I just don't like the direction they're going in. They're still they don't do anything other than like promote the better system, which is just like sustainability, picking up garbage. I don't hear them do anything else, so I don't know. I hope they do different things, go into AI, go into DePIN, go into DeFi, anything besides just picking up garbage. Casper, like a smaller L1. I never really got into them. They've been out for a while. Oof. That doesn't look good. Yeah, they're probably going to be lost in a sea of L1s. So it looks like they have no momentum at all. They didn't really move at all in 2024. Aaron, Happy New Year. Thank you. Appreciate your support. That is shipping boxing and MMA gloves for data tracking. It's just the beginning for merch data analysis. But, you know, they already have supply chain stuff. Okay? They already do stuff for supply chain, right? Like, what got me into VeChain in the first place was counterfeiting stuff. They were, you know, trying to prevent counterfeits. They were working like Walmart China and stuff like that. they, you know, supply chain stuff they have. But what about the consumer stuff? What about getting some LPs going? What about getting a swap going, or some DEXs going, right? What about getting some, I don't know, some good DEXs going, some liquid staking going? What about getting some good games going or launch pads going? What about the things that, you know, things that retail people care about? What about getting some memes going, right? Like stuff like that. Stuff that other chains have plenty of and is really helping them, really carrying them forward, right? That's kind of what I mean. I am bullish on AVAX. I do like them. I do like them a lot. Orange, appreciate it. Really appreciate it. 44. What's your opinion on MM Crypto? I mean, I met the guy a few times. He's a really nice guy. I haven't really watched his content at all. I know he's a big Bitcoin guy. He's a nice guy in person. But yeah, that's all I could say about that. I don't know what he says in his content. I don't know like if he's a chartist or not, and I don't know how good he is at his charting or anything. But I know he's a nice guy in person, though. Alvara. I have no idea. No idea what that is. Have you heard of Supra? Yeah. People asked me about it. But I don't know too much about it. But I will say this. This is bad. This is the last thing I'll say. If you look at market cap versus FDV, it's horrible. Total supply is 100 billion, and they only release 6 billion. That's really, really bad. Really bad. So, yeah. So there are a ton of tokens not released that will absolutely crush this. So don't look at this as a $200 million project. This is already a $3.35 billion project. So just look at that. Aptos and Sui. I like Sui a lot more than Aptos. Sui definitely has a lot more traction, a lot more things going on in their ecosystem. Aptos, they're fine. You know, both of those founders are they're all ex-Facebookers, but I don't know what's going on in Aptos, to be honest. So, all right, guys, that is it. The end of 2024. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens tomorrow. Yeah, the rest of this week, I'm not going to be streaming my normal schedule. And plus, New Year's Day is coming up, so that's a holiday anyways. So I'm going to be traveling. I'm going to try to put out a video for the rest of the week. Not at my usual time. They'll be recorded, but we'll see what happens tomorrow. Tomorrow's the last day of this year. Will things change afterwards? I guess we'll wait and see. All right. Stay strong, my friends. Smash the like, subscribe to the channel, and have a good remaining 2024. And we'll see how good 2025 is once it starts. All right. Have a good one, guys. Take care.